Creole, welcome back to yet another channel. Today's topic, we got Juice Wrld. Had to put the 999 shirt on. We the new age YouTubers. I'm Dante in this. I pause every 5 seconds. I have a lot to say.
All right, so Juice Wrld just had an album released posthumously. That means after he passed, and many of its fans absolutely hate it. Its reviews are also overwhelmingly awful. Why? Well, let me explain. But first of all, for those of you that don't know, Juice Wrld was a very popular artist that tragically passed away a few years back. We're not going to get into how he passed away. That's not this video. We're going to get into what happened after. See, what happens when an artist passes away is record labels usually continue to release their music. Why? Well, because those record labels own that artist's music. Even the music that artist chooses not.
Give me a fucking second. Hello.
Not to release for one reason or another. Record labels are basically a giant scam. But regardless, what musicians usually do is they record a bunch of songs and they pick out which ones that they really like, and then they release an album. Now, those bunch of songs that they recorded, the throwaways, are just kind of sitting there. If y'all remember, Kendrick Lamar released an album called To Pimp a Butterfly. It was so good that many people, namely LeBron James, said, yo, where are the throwaways? Because people figured those probably hit too. And because LeBron asked, Kendrick Lamar said, screw it, he released the throw.
By the way, I did not know that. I didn't know the Entitled series came because LeBron James was like, that ain't our ball.
Ways in like another album. So as you can imagine, even when a musician passes, they still have a bunch of songs recorded. Again, those songs are owned by the record label. So they say, hey, hold on, we just want to release these songs as another album. The fans are going to buy it anyway because they missed the artist. And this has happened to almost every musician who has passed away. But now listen to this next part closely. Some musicians record more songs than other musicians. XXXTentacion, Notorious B.I.G., John Lennon, they all had albums reach they all had albums reach the Billboard Top 200 when they passed away. Tupac had 7 albums reach the Billboard Top 100 when he passed. So that goes to show you how many songs he recorded. This is a record label's goldmine, an artist who records a bunch of songs.
That shit is sickening, bro. Like the amount of Tupac albums that came out, and I listened to them. I'm a fan of Pac. I recently went back, like as I want to say like I was 18, a couple years ago, and I went back and like listened to it in the order that he like came out with them, and bro, the decrease in not only energy but the obvious presence of him, the beat selections after the Machiavelli album, the 7 Day Theory, Donna Illuminati, whatever it's called. After that album, bro, the decrease that it went on was absurd, bro.
Songs and who's beloved by fans. Michael Jackson, Prince. There's another 2 for you. In fact, Sony paid Michael Jackson's estate $250 million so they can release some of his posthumous albums.
I feel like his shit was worth more than that. That's a low ball for him.
Prince, $150 million. His estate was battling back and forth, 6-year legal settlement, all to get the rights to release some of his music that maybe he didn't want to release. Juice Wrld.
That's why he wrote slave across his face, bro. Do your homework.
An artist beloved by fans and an artist who recorded a lot of music. And I mean a lot. Why? Because Juice Wrld freestyled on most of his songs. I'm sure many of you have seen Juice Wrld freestyling for hours upon hours straight on radio.
Ali said something that was very interesting. I had heard her say it a long time ago. I want to say around the time that he first passed away. I know people got opinions about her because she's done through the couple of years. The woman's pain, she got trauma. None of my drama to speak on, but she spoke on how when he was alive she would tell him to stop. Like she would be like, yo, stop making music. Like you're not, the record labels are gonna deem you worthless. Like they have so much music from you that you in the flesh as you are, you're going too fast. Like they could literally pump out an album once a year for the next 10 years at the pace of the
radio shows. It's just something that's ingrained in him. He can open his mouth and he can make an album. Record label said, oh boy, he passed away. they still say, oh boy. Because again, they have full control over his past catalog. He can't argue with them saying, no, I don't want to release this song, that song. They can release whatever they want. Because when an artist usually gets to around Juice WRLD's height, when they start understanding the music industry a lot better, they start realizing themselves, wait, what is a record label really doing for me? They start getting into little battles with their record label, especially when it comes to album release time. Because what usually happens is a record label will walk in.
Surprised he didn't put Prince up there, because he was one of the first that really started that. Like, Prince got one of them deals and he was like, oh my god, he has the most money in the game, and then he turned around and was like, yo, that, never mind, I'm a slave, I can't do what I want to do. So he should have put Prince up there, because he was like one of the first people, I would say, that started that, from my knowledge. There could be a nigga Billy Joel or some nigga in the back of the day.
Again, after you finish your album, your hard-earned work, you're like, the fans are going to absolutely love this. Record labels be like, okay, take that song out, take that song out, take this song out, put this one in. That's how they think they're gonna make money. They think they know your fans a lot better than you do, because they're looking at data. So usually artists argue with them like, no, I'm going to put this song in. They're fighting for their lives, for their albums at all times. It's always a huge back and forth.
Bro, at this point, I don't ever want to hear another artist come out. I think the last person that I would accept coming out and talking shit about their label would be Lil Uzi. But at this point, bro, you just gotta read your fucking contract.
Between labels and artists. And sure, record labels have full control, so even if their artist doesn't want a certain song out, they could just put it out anyway, but they don't want to get on the bad side of their artist. They want to compromise so the artist doesn't hate them. So when the artist passes away, again, that record label is going, ooh, I got no one to argue with me anymore. I'm just putting this out. What a label then usually does is they either go to a producer that artist has worked with a lot in the past. What a producer does is they basically put the whole song together. They do more than just make beats. And they say, hey, can you take this artist's vision? You know how they like to make music, put it together, make us an album. Or they usually go to a big name producer, because they just assume it's a big name producer. They probably know what they're doing. I don't know, work on this album. And the big name producer will usually say yes, because they know that album about to skyrocket because of that artist's fan base. And they tell them, look, we have these recorded voice samples of Juice WRLD on this beat, make it into—
Hold on, I'm not gonna lie, Eminem is a little questionable. Eminem, I talked about it earlier on how he had did the Tupac album. If he financially benefited off of that, that's a little weird.
To an actual song. It doesn't have to be finished, put a feature on it. And big name features are always willing to hop on posthumous albums, because they know those albums are about to go up. Remember, big fan bases. Boom.
The fuck is Miley Cyrus doing on a song with him, bro?
They released Juice WRLD's first posthumous album. It does well. People miss him. They love the songs. They released a second posthumous album. Still does well. People—
I feel like on this album, Legends Never Die, I believe this had Man of the Year on it, which I was waiting for. This was prime Juice right here.
Released a second posthumous album. Still does well. People miss him. They love the songs. But here's the thing, as they keep going through his catalog, they're gonna get less and less songs that are complete and songs that they can work with. And the reason for this is, listen to this next part closely. The more an artist likes a song, usually, in general, the higher the chances that they're going to complete the song. So most of the time, the better songs are already finished. If an artist doesn't really like a song, doesn't really feel the song, they might stop like halfway. And a lot of times when the artist doesn't really like the song, the fan probably won't like the song, right? On top of that, in a lot of posthumous albums, there's poor quality songs, because an artist is just kind of playing around. They're not focused like recording in a soundproof room. They're just trying things out. They might record an official version some other time in a full-on soundproof room. But if they pass without recording that official version, then the label will just take whatever they recorded, tell the producer, hey man, make this sound better, and just release it. That's why you might hear a lot of poor quality songs in posthumous albums. So they announced this third album, The Party Never Ends. People go, bro, it's been a few years. Now people are onto the scheme. His fans enjoyed the first two albums. It felt like a nice closing moment, but a third album? What else is there to say? The label comes out and says, don't worry, we gonna do your boy right. They start making a bunch of promises to the fans, because they know if the fans aren't with them, this can turn ugly real fast. Oh, and let me call out his label real quick. It's Interscope Records. If you think this whole thing sucks, then you can blame Interscope. So anyway, Interscope goes to the fans. Y'all excited? They go, Interscope says, stop. Y'all excited? Fans go, Interscope goes, all right, we're just gonna release it anyway. They release it. And from what I've seen, generally, it's okay. And that's the problem, because they announced that this is Juice WRLD's last album. So the fans are saying, yo, you gave us those first 2 albums. That was a nice end to the legacy. This third one, if y'all are saying this is the final one,
let's just start at the album cover. Like, that shit is trash, bro.
this better encapsulate everything Juice WRLD and really give that last album feel. The record label grabbed a bunch of songs, smashed them together, released an album. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, the record label just does not care. They would have released a recording of Juice WRLD straight up just barking, as long as they get their millions, which they will get. They're not trying to have this go #1 or anything. They just want those fans to spend some dollars, milk what they can, whatever. And remember, they own his music for life. So I would not be surprised if they release another album saying, okay, this is the final album. Because what?
He don't even got one of those deals to where like he recouped, like it's like a distribution deal where like once you give them, when you give them a certain percentage of the song, and then once they recoup on the money that they get, once they recoup on the money that they gave you, they'll give it back to you in a sense. So then you can take over royalties, you can get your points for the track, whatever it may be. He didn't even have that.
What do they have to lose? They're gonna make money regardless. And that's the saddest part about posthumous albums. These artists might not want these songs released, but for obvious reasons they have no say, especially artists like Prince and Michael Jackson, who were deeply connected with their music. And they fought hard to own most of their music. That's why a lot of Michael Jackson Prince fans constantly get upset at both of their estates, because posthumous albums seem to go directly against the wishes of Michael Jackson and Prince. But that being said, back to Juice WRLD, no one quite knows what his wishes are. So the label just took advantage of that, saying, we're gonna release these in his memory. It's what he would have wanted, maybe. And then, well, they grabbed some producer, compile some songs, throw it out. All that being said, to me, man, the whole thing feels kind of scummy, doesn't it? Like, it's one thing for record labels to exploit artists while they're alive.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I can speak to, let's say, like X's albums, because I was a fan of X when he was alive. So when he passed, seeing them come out with Skins and then seeing them come out with Bad Vibes Forever, it was really demoralizing to hear him become like it was demoralizing to hear him be like the main attraction in the first album, and then the second one was just, he was the feature. Like, even though it was his album, he was a feature, because the nigga would do like a half a verse and then dip. It sucks, man. Again, artists, read your shit, man. Know what you're getting yourself into. Distribution deals are better than fully buying into the fucking industry, man. And if you're gonna do it, I guess understand what it comes with. Have a plan. But I think Juice was young. I think he was just young, wide-eyed, and wanted it. He was hungry, obviously. Even through his addiction, he was very hungry. So I don't think he may have thought that through. Genuinely, I don't think he thought that through. I mean, frontal lobe was not even fully developed, bro. It's crazy as fuck. Like as the years go on, I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, they were genuinely kids out here, bro. And they were given millions and millions of fans, millions of dollars, millions of whatever the fuck they wanted. And I don't think that thought maybe crossed his mind, or even if it did, he was probably just like, whatever it's gonna be is whatever it's gonna be. I'm gonna have a good time. It sucks. Let me get the fuck out of here. Go listen to my music. I make music, shit. Goodbye. I'll see you on the next one.